Hey everyone, I'm Kathy from Kathy Creates, where I try to inspire you to create. Come on into the craft room and we will get started here. I'm just going to get us pulled up over here. Wait for Facebook to catch up. When you get here, say hello. Let me know how you been. And there we are. Make sure my volume is off. Okay. Let's see comments. It's not letting me see comments. Hello, Miss Tracy. Welcome, welcome. It's not letting me see comments. I'm going to go out and come back in. Hopefully that will work. There we go. Now I can see comments. All right, so come on in. We've got a brand new little kit for you here. This is a sunflower gnome little shelf sitter. Okay, I'm going to hold it up. There's a bunch of little pieces though, so I can't really tilt it too much, but you get the gist. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started painting this guy. So we're going to separate out all of our pieces. So these are the insides of our little sunflowers. So we're going to paint those all one color. I'm going to put those on a piece of tape. Hello, Lynn. Welcome. Thank you so much for sprinkling. I greatly appreciate that. So this kit is brand new to the website. It is $18 shipped to your door. And let's see, we're going to set these guys aside. Same with that. All right, so we're just going to kind of separate all this out. All right, so this is our base. And as you can see up at the top there on his hat, we have the lines for his hat. I am going to do this part of him in buffalo plaid. You're not going to see a whole lot of it, but if you know me, you know I love buffalo plaid. Hey, Karen. Welcome, welcome. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to separate our napkin. I love this napkin. This napkin is great. I don't know what I'm going to do when I run out because I like that it's small. All the other buffalo plaid napkins that I've seen, the check is a lot bigger. And I like this little small check on this one. I like it a lot. All right, so I got both of those peeled. Now the first thing, hey Cheryl, thank you so much for sprinkling. I appreciate it. Hey, coffee cheers, lady. Hey, Denise. So the first thing we're going to do to make sure that our napkin pops is we are going to paint the bottom of it. Okay, we're just going to paint it white, and that way it will pop. You'll be able to see the napkin. Okay, so we're just going to go down. Most of this is going to get covered, so it doesn't really have to be great. I just want to get a little bit of a base coat on here. Just so when we go to put the napkin on, it doesn't get washed out. Okay, so just like that. Now I stopped just short of that top line, as you can see, okay? Because that is going to be the hat. Let's get this dry, and then we'll Mod Podge that on. Hey Kelly, thank you so much for sprinkling. I appreciate that so much. So how has everybody's weather been? Ours has been very strange today. It's been beautiful sunny and then downpour. And then beautiful and sunny and downpour. Okay, so we've got that dry. So now we're going to move on to the Mod Podge. Let's find a brush I want to use for Mod Podge. You know what? Let's do one other piece though. I want to also do, this is the brim of his hat. And I also want to paint or do that in the buffalo plaid. So we're gonna paint this up real quick, just like that. Super fast and easy. Teddy's in here with me tonight. So make sure you're commenting for a chance at Happy Mail. Mom is going to be drawing names. And I am past due on Happy Mails, so we will be sending out probably 2 actually, because I don't think I did June even. So now is the time. You want to be commenting so you get a chance at that Happy Mail. And our Happy Mail is usually craft kits. So it's definitely something you're going to want. It's usually something, one of our kids and some other stuff. All right, so I've got our Mod Podge on there. Now, I don't want this to go too high. Let's see. Yeah, that'll work. If I go to there, that should work. And you guys know me, I'm not a fuss about the wrinkles. I kind of like it. It gives me that vintage feel. We're going to dry this down. You're supposed to get some of that, Cheryl? Price differences in my subscription group is $32 and $39. $32 you get just the wood kit, and $39 you get all of the paint and all of the things, okay? All right, so we're going to take our little sanding block and sand off the excess here. A lot of paint on this sanding block, so I'm getting a little bit of paint here and there. Got that side done. Now we just need to come around here with this side. And I need something small to get in this. Here, let's take this. Okay, so when you need a tight spot, you can do a little nail file. And that usually will work pretty well, but actually I'm going to take a pair of scissors, because I want to cut this right above that. Okay. So now I'm going to have to glue that down a little better. It's not right here in this little corner. It's not down very well. And that is a tight little spot to get in. There we go. We got it. Okay, so we have our little buffalo plaid on the bottom. Okay, I'm going to go around and touch up just a couple spots where it's in those corners and it's not so clean. All right, I think we're good. All right, we're good. So now let's do the same thing to this. You absolutely love this month's kit. I figured you would. You didn't guess, did ya? I had you fooled on this one. Oops, there's quite a bit of Mod Podge right there. There are a lot of pieces to this month's kit, that is for sure. Okay. We haven't studied it yet. All right, we just about have this done. Okay, so we will save the rest of that napkin for another project, and we have the brim of our hat done. So we're done with the Mod Podge, so let's set that aside. We're not done with the Mod Podge, I forgot. We got to cover this. So let me put some Mod Podge on my plate. I just about did this with white paint. That would have not been good. So what I'm doing now is I'm sealing this napkin down so it's not going to lift or tear or any of those things. Now you do have to be somewhat gentle with this. You don't want to be too aggressive because you can still tear your napkin. Okay, that part is done. Now let's just do the brim of our little hat. Okay, now I think we're actually done with the Mod Podge. So let's go ahead and get this dry. You're tired tonight, Cheryl? Yes, you are, Lynn, and we would love to get to know you. So our subscription group is next Saturday night at 7. So for those ladies that are in the group, that is when we will be crafting this month's subscription kit. I don't know that I have it in here because I could show y'all if time permits. Okay. All right, so we have that done. So we're going to set these pieces aside for right now. And we're going to work on some other stuff. Yeah, we'll need white again, so we're not going to get rid of that, but we can move that stuff. Okay, so next we're going to paint our little sunflowers. So we're going to paint those yellow. And I'm going to use a sponge. Now, this piece is kind of a backer piece for this bottom one, okay? So what we need to do on this is we need to paint this inside of this yellow, and then these are his hands on either side, and then we have the stem and the flower. So we're going to just paint the two flowers, the yellow. Now this stem is pretty thin, so you do need to be somewhat careful because it could break if you put too much pressure on it. Because there's not a lot of real estate there. Okay, so we got that guy painted. We'll probably have to come back and do 2 coats, so that's why I'm going to go ahead and get these done. Okay, those are done. We're going to set those aside, let those dry, and then we'll come back and hit those with another coat. This, we're going to paint this whole thing white. This is his beard, okay? So we're going to paint that white. I am going to use my brush for this since it is a larger piece. Now, I do like to go when I'm painting towards the edge instead of dragging my brush back the other way. Here I need to be a little, actually I don't, because that's going to get covered, so it doesn't matter. So we're going to clean up our brush strokes. And we got to let this dry. So let's go ahead and hit this. You have no clue where what? The zoom? Very simple. All you got to do is click on the link that I post in the private group. We'd love to have you. Thanks, Cheryl. All right, we're going to hit this one more time. All right, so his mustache is right here, okay? So I am going to kind of take my paintbrush and make his mustache. So at least it's going in this different direction. It'll be subtle, but you'll be able to tell. And we'll even add a little gray into that, just a teeny bit of gray. Okay, we're going to add some white to that. Quite a bit of white, actually. Because I don't want it a dark gray. I just want it a tad gray. Okay, and then we're just going to drag that through. And then we'll go back with some white until we get it how we want it. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Oops, and I just stuck my finger in the white, so now I got to touch up the white. So it's very subtle, but you can see it. Okay, we're going to rinse that brush because now I need to touch up my white where I just ran my fingers over it before it was dry. I'm just kind of blending that in so it doesn't stand out so much. Okay. This dry, and actually that's still a little too dark for me, so we're going to go over it with some white. I don't want it super noticeable. I want it to just be a subtle little mustache. And now I just threw that brush in the water, so we got to get another one. That's better. That's more what I want. As it dried darker, and I didn't care for that. That's better. Okay, so it's very subtle, but it's there. All right. Yep, that's better. I like that. Okay, so we're going to set this aside. We're done with that piece. And we're going to come back to this now. Let's do our yellows again. So we want that to pop. How are we doing on time? Okay, we're good. We're only 20 minutes in. We still have 25 minutes. Okay. Boy, the event for last week for Miss Sherry, wow, was that amazing. This little group with just some crafters in it raised over $16,000 for her family. That was just incredible. I was so honored to be a part of that. But he was happy, Tracy. Yes, he did. He was fine. So and if you guys didn't see it, you'll have to go back and watch one of my videos I posted over the weekend. My little grandson is 2. He'll be 3 in September. And he was having a massive meltdown, actually, because we turned off the water to a sprinkler. And he kept yelling, he's crying and saying, I'm happy. And he's screaming and crying at the top of his lungs. It's like, dude, you're not happy. You are not happy. All right, so we're going to paint the stem and the leaves on this green. So I've got this real tiny little detail brush to do that with. That will be the easiest way to do that. Yeah, he was in desperate need of a nap. And when he came inside, Mommy held him for a little while and he fell asleep. So he finally got his nap and he woke up a much happier little boy. And then we took him to the beach. So he's got to swim some more, or got to be in water more. Let's put it that way. Okay, so I think we're done. I don't know. I'm going to leave that brush there because we may have to come back. All right, and now we're going to paint his little nose and his hands. Tracy watched me. Yeah, I did too. I had to catch quite a few of them on replay because I worked, but I did watch most of them, and it was incredible. Such an awesome event. And it's just amazing to me how just such a small thing like crafts can make such a big impact. It was amazing. All right, and this is his nose. So we're going to paint his nose, kind of a fleshy color. Those might need another coat as well, so we'll set those aside for now. Okay. So I think we are ready to move on to his hat. Oh, let's do the insides of our, we're going to do those in a brown. These are the insides of our sunflowers. He is a cutie, Cynthia. I guess that's what entertains the retired community. Could be. Could be. That is for sure. All right. For this, we are going to use a sponge. We make sure these are stuck down because sometimes they lift off when you're painting them. All right. And those will need to dry, and they may need another coat as well. That brown is kind of watery, so it doesn't cover the best. So we're going to set that there. Okay, so I'm going to paint this whole thing white. And then, why do I keep getting rid of my white brushes? Duh. Okay, so let's do, I keep putting them in the water. Let's do this guy. So what I'm going to do with this is we're going to do black and white. And I'm going to paint this whole hat white, and then I'm going to go back, and where the lines are, we're going to paint it black. Because there's lines etched into this hat. I don't really need to paint the sunflower because it's going to get covered up, but I did anyways. It is amazing, Tracy, what you can accomplish. There were so many just really neat, unique things, and then there were so many just very moving, meaningful. It was just such a neat event. Again, I am just so honored to be a part of it. Okay, we're going to hit this one more time. Okay, I'm not putting that in the water because you just never know. Actually, I think his hands and nose are fine. I don't think they're going to need to paint it again. So get rid of that brush. Okay. So now we are going to get the black out. I did too, Tracy. I cried a lot too during that event. And I never even met Sherry. I was just so moved by all of it that it really, I had never met her, but yet, do I want this brush? I gotta find the brush I want. So many of my brushes are dirty. I need to clean my brushes. And I think this one will be fine. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in between the lines here, and I'm going to leave the thin stripe as white. And I'm just going to go along that line with the black. I think I got a little white on the edge, which then drug it through my black. Okay, let's go to the next one. Sorry, I'm concentrating. Okay, and we're going to do this one. This one's a little bigger. Okay, so we have our little hat painted. Okay. I think we are about done painting. It was very mind-boggling. It was incredible. I have just no other words. It was incredible. And again, I was just so honored to be a part of it. All right, I think we're gonna paint our feet. Do I want them white or do I want them black? I think we're gonna go white. We're gonna paint his little boots white. Yeah, they're not that straight, Tracy. I didn't do a very good job either. It's okay, it's a craft, right? It's gonna need another coat. Okay. I think our green is good too. I don't think that's gonna need another coat. So I can put that away. Now, keep in mind that you could use a napkin for his hat. You wouldn't need to put the straight lines on there. You could just paint it a solid color. Or you could use napkin, scrapbook paper, any of those things. So don't let the lines scare you. Okay, I think we are close to being ready. We got to paint our base. I think we're going to do that black. I already put the base together. It's a 2-part base. So it will sit right in there and stand up. Okay, I think we are all painted. So we can start assembly. Get this out of the way so we don't get paint on anything. Wipe my fingers so we don't get paint all over. Trust me, napkin or paper works for me. Amen, girl. Then to see so many creators having 2 and 3 things to auction. It was incredible. I think almost everybody added to their project. I know I did. I added extra things. I threw in a kit. I threw in just other craft supplies. So, I mean, I think we all did that, trying to raise, you know, the bid up so more money was earned. So, which is just, I think, really cool. Okay. I was gonna say, where did his little face go? I was missing this piece. Forgot where I put it. Okay, so we're gonna put this part on first. And with all my kits, it's peel and stick. So it basically is a wood sticker. So you just gotta peel this off. And stick it down. Now, I do caution you when you're doing these, it's one and done. Once you put it down, it's down. And you're not going to get it back up. Not without ruining everything. So I just got to get this lined up. There, I think that's good. Okay. And then we're going to add our little brim of his hat. Lines right up with the top of his thing. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Look how cute he is. Okay, let's go ahead and put his feet on. Yes, once it's stuck, it's stuck. It's not coming off. You have a little wiggle room until you press it down, and then once it's pressed, you're done. Okay, now this guy goes right there. So we got to peel this. Oh, thanks. All right, Cheryl, we'll see ya. All right, so we just want to line this up with the flower. And then we're just going to let that drop down. We're going to put his nose on. Nose goes right there. And now this one I like to stagger it so it's not lined up perfectly. That's why I painted this guy yellow underneath. I'll show you here in a minute. You'll be able to see. You can see the layer underneath. Okay. And these all go right there. Right? Yes, I sent you guys one of these tools. I sent one of these in the kit, and I'll show you why in a minute, because I'm going to do the technique that we're going to do. When I get it done here. Okay. All right, so he's all painted and put together, but we're going to add some little details to him to make him pop a little more. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is I'm going to use one of my paint pens, and we're going to put we're going to put some detail on the flowers. We're going to put the separation of the petals is what we're doing. Okay, that one's done. I didn't have enough of my paint going yet in these, so I'm going to go back over these. Make them a little darker. Okay. Just that alone makes an enormous difference. You can see how cute that is. Oh, sure, Lynn, I can do that. Okay, so now we're going to go back with white and black. So I'm going to add some details on his hat. How are we doing on time? Okay, we got 6 minutes. We're good. I'm just putting little polka dots around the lines on his hat. Oh my gosh, that just makes a huge difference. Makes my straight line or my messy lines look so much better. Wet spot right there though, so I'm going to skip that because I don't want to get black paint all over my white pen. So we're going to skip that part and I'll come back to that. I do want to add just a little something right there on his nose and on his hands. And then we're going to add just a little line on the bottom of the leaves. Okay. And then we're going to add just a little, you know what? I think I want to do gray. I don't think I want black. Let's do gray. All right, I think he might be done. I think I'm going to go over. I'm not sure these little polka dots will show up very well, but we're going to try it out. When it dries, they might disappear, but we're going to see. Just add a little more detail to. Okay. All right. So what do you think of my guy? How cute is he? Isn't he cute? Okay, so then we're gonna set him in his stand. Whoops. There we go. And there he is, all standing up. Okay. So $18. $18 for the kit shipped to your door for this guy. Okay. So he will stand up just like so. And I think he is super cute. He's about, I think, 8 inches tall. 7, a little over 7 1/4. And he's about 6 inches wide. Okay. So that is all I have for you tonight. I'm not sure who's up next, but make sure you stick around. They will be amazing, I'm sure. And I will see you all soon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.